Good evening, welcome back. It is Thursday, July 27th, 2023. Coming at you a little bit later this evening. Just been working a lot lately. Not necessarily overtime, but it was very hot today. So I came home and I had to didn't take a nap, but I just laid down to cool down. But we're back with you here. So on this date in 1986, speaking of hot days, Bobby Hillin won at Talladega. Another race, seems like July. Into July is when I went to a bunch of races. Into July and beginning of August. But Bobby Hillin won the Talladega 500 on this date in 1986. According to people in the area that day, it was like 105 in the shade. It was brutal that day. I recommend you go back and watch this race. This is actually a really, really good race to watch. There's a lot of, at the time, there was a record 26 different leaders, lots of crashes, lots of action. This was a typical Talladega race as they were starting to get into that era of having the big one, if you will. On this day in 1997, at Michigan Speedway in the IROC Series, Randy LaJoie wins his only career IROC race. On this day in 2008 is the debacle at the Brickyard 400. Jimmy Johnson wins that race, but they had levigated the track and done some things to the speedway that benefited the Indy cars, but created a problem for the NASCAR teams, and they could only run about 12 to 14 laps before the tires were literally just blowing apart, so NASCAR was throwing a caution about every 10 to 12 laps so teams could change tires, and it was just a farce of a race. And in 2014, Jeff Gordon wins his record 5th Brickyard 400. So we only have one birthday today. There's a couple other birthdays I looked at, but if 100 people watch this video, 2 people might know who they were, and they were somewhat obscure Formula One drivers. So I just decided I don't have any cards of them, and really didn't have any description of them because I only briefly watched like maybe the tail end of their careers. But anyway, the birthday we have today, born on this date in 1991, Mr. Matt DiBenedetto. So I do have these in somewhat chronological order, but they're more in order of the teams that he drove. Of course, he did spend some time in the Xfinity, the Nationwide Series with, I believe, Curtis Key Racing and a couple other teams. He did get the nod to drive for BK Racing, ran for them for a while. Of course, that was a whole train wreck there. Moved over to the 32 car, the Go Fast Racing, Go Green Light, whatever they called it. I can't remember what they called it. Several different owners, Archie St. Hilaire and a few other folks. So here he's got Can-Am sponsorship. He had rotating sponsorships, had some good runs, especially at the speedways. Caught the eye of Bob Levine. 2019, I believe it was. He ran for the Levine Family Racing in the number 95 car. There's a good picture of the Procore paint job. He ran that car for 1 year. Had a runner-up finish at Bristol. Did really good there. Thought this was pretty cool. The 2020 Donruss. It's not the exact same picture, but you can tell that they took it from the same roll. Because you look at the guy's forehead back there over his shoulder. There you see his face. You see the guys in the background as well. Then he went to the Wood Brothers for a couple of seasons. Had some really good runs there. Almost won Talladega. Had a couple other second place finishes, I believe maybe Vegas and Kentucky during that stretch. Made the playoffs in 2021, I believe it was, his first season. It might have been 2020. Yeah, 2020 he made the playoffs, 21 he missed. And then the last couple of seasons he has been back in the Truck Series, racing for the Rackley WAR team. Got his first NASCAR National Series win last year at Talladega. So that is our lone birthday for the day. Had some pretty cool events. So we're going to call it a day and get you guys on your way to your Friday. So thanks again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we will see you tomorrow.